come to this bay on the good word of a family we met in Tarrafal on our last visit there. We had barely arrived and already we were surrounded by friends. We had no choice but to succumb to their demands that we come aboard their vessel. And off we were. The village was just a couple of bays south. Every day they go out to fish, but they were eager to bring back and show off today's catch. All the men here are in a way related. Cousins, brothers, and in-laws. Their community spirit humbles me. I'm accustomed to the individualistic mode of society. Everyone for himself. Here, everyone helps and no one is left hungry. This is the town of Riviera de Barca. Most of the men here are fishermen. There is some agriculture in the valley adjacent where they grow sugarcane to make grog and cane honey and collect coconuts. There's only one small inn, a few restaurants and cafes, little grocery stores, none of them run by Chinese. And this little bar run by Flo in front of her mother's house. Lola's always the star with her Mexican guitar, and Nat was busy mixing sweet condensed milk, cocoa, and grog, a tantalizing drink called punch cocoa. How people open the doors to foreign strangers is so foreign to me and humbling again.
God, I love this country and I love these people.
This is the matriarch of the house, showing how she enjoys tobacco snuff. She's known to be quite the strong woman here. After a few drinks, we're led to a big house shared by a large family. They set out a table and fed us fish and rice.
I love this country, I love these people, I love them everything.
We stayed well after dark before they shipped us back to Galopin in the quiet bay. We had been told that it was a gritty 1-hour walk to the village. So on a bright sunny afternoon, we set out in search of a trail that would take us to town.
Well, here we are on this little desolate spot. It's actually not so desolate because as soon as we got to our anchorage, there were 2 more boats, then another one came later, and a bunch of fishermen came. So nobody here now. Lola and Natasha are ahead of me because I was taking my time, taking pictures and filming. But This is cool. What a change from Mindelo and Tarrafal. I'm liking this.
We made quick progress. All we had to do was get over these cliffs like goats.
What is that sound? We're lost. Impossible to get over this cliff. We gotta find a way. But we're lost.
But there was no safe way to get over those rocks, and we are by no means goats. One of us wearing only flip-flops and a guitar. Once on a plateau, the scene was cinematic. But not so much for Lola, our Parisian friend, who voiced her opinion often.
We're on top of the mountain, out of the crater. Now we gotta find our way to town.
It was just down valleys and over mountains, and we blindly followed a trail. I sat under the shade of a tree and flew my drone to offer perspective to our whereabouts. The girls marched well ahead. I soon followed to catch up, but they were nowhere in sight. I followed their trail, sneakers and flip-flops amongst cattle tracks. My instincts told me to veer right, and lost their trail, but was on one of my own. Eventually, over the ridge, I saw the village. But I had a mountain to descend, and would there be cliffs again to keep me from reaching it?
Well, still a long ways to go, man. Goat's head soup. Ah! This ain't getting any easier. I lost the girls, they took a wrong turn. Natasha just called, she's going way up the valley, and I decided to go over the crest and come down, but this is what I have to go down.
I followed a dry riverbed that once cascaded to the valley below. It must be quite a sight during the rainy season.
I think I'm finally on the trail to get down to the valley and to the village. The girls are way back. We'll see if I'll probably get there before them. But
There I was, stumbling down the gravelly terrain. The girls had called and had gone straight higher into the mountains.
well, I'm back in civilization. I made it. Girls called. They're stuck way up in the hills. They went straight instead of making a right turn. I'm here, I just need to get something to drink.
As soon as I got into town, voices hollered my name and I was back in the company of the family from the night before.
We lost Natasha, we lost Lola. They're not here, we're all waiting for them to come back. And everybody's concerned. They didn't take the right turn like me. Hopefully I'll get back before dark. So here I am with the family. They went to save Lola and Natasha. They went way far away, and we've been waiting here. And this family here hosted me, gave me some food. And this beautiful woman here was praying for the two girls. It was fantastic. And then all of a sudden the girls called. And now the guys went to rescue them. It's night and everything, and so we're just waiting for them. But it's so sweet of them to host me here while we wait. Vous savez qui vous devez remercier?
While waiting, I noticed this lady speaking to herself. She was praying for the girls. Her words to the powers above did not go unanswered. As soon as Natasha called, she stopped praying and began to smile. The men took a car to fetch the girls, and they stayed for the night while I went back to guard my boat. Lola would be off early in the morning to get to Praia, the capital. This bay is home to the captain and his family, as well as turtles, which you can see one swimming behind Galapa. As well, there are flocks of wild hens and groups of monkeys living in hills and trees. Captain Stefan has declared this home to his fleet of 2 steel ketches. He shares one boat with his wife Simone and 8-year-old daughter Sabai. 15-year-old Nefeli lives on the other boat, their oldest daughter. The captain is generous with anecdotes, theory, and advice as you are invited aboard his vessel, and generously offered lots of conversation, food, and drink. They have been on the archipelago for several years, and before sailing to Cape Verde, they had lived in Senegal and the Gambia. The captain dreams of having a small fleet of ships, doing commerce with West Africa, shipping voyagers and tourists back and forth, while keeping a home base in this quiet, protected bay. His story is inspiring as well as a little crazy, but it's the crazy ones who make the world go round, the ones who change the rules and perhaps make the world a better place by doing so. They live by their own rules and live free as ever as people can do so. Today they went for an afternoon sail with a visiting friend and the help of Ni, a local Rasta I would come to know a little more. It's as if you're taken into a modern family fiction adventure story. But it's no fiction. This is real. And when staring out at the surroundings, it's difficult to differ between reality and surreality, especially when looking onto the setting sun behind the island of Fogo. I hope to be able to follow the family's story in the years to come.
Okay, we're on a second attempt to go to the town by foot. This time with some help. With Nefeli and Simone. And hopefully they will guide us the right way, not like last time with me and Lola and Natasha. So here we go. Today is very bruma seca, as you will see. Super hazy. It's all dust from the Sahara.
I wanted to know the way, and I acknowledged defeat of the other day and gladly accepted guidance on this dusty day. What's in the air is not fog, it's Sahara dust. It comes over when the wind is blowing east from the desert. A guide was bringing Martin to the bay, a visiting friend from town to the fleet. His guide was Ni, and would be my guide from now on, as Simone and Nefeli accompanied their visiting friend. Simone came with us a little ways to see the shortcut Ni usually takes. Once on a plateau, Ni made a quick right walking over the cliffs we could not surmount. He was quick and nimble like the goats, and he knew the way to get over those cliffs if and when he wanted to. When I caught up to him, I heard the sweet melodies and marching rhythms of Bob Marley coming from his backpack. It was an easy walk with a few obstacles. The view must have been spectacular if it were not for the haze. Ni's home was at the end of the trail, and he invited me in. He showed me his humble home and the mess his macaque monkey made of a bag of flour. That's why he keeps him tied up and calls him Pirate. He domesticated him from the wild. Ni also showed me some of the art he created, offered some water, and a shot of pure sugarcane honey, incredibly sweet and nourishing. It's his energy power bar. It had taken less than an hour to get here, and I was glad to be back, as was everyone else.